the floor where they drop like bombs. Faceless voices running all the cons. Digital whispers in the binary night. No light, no face, pure sound, no sight. Stories unfold in the dark unscrolled. Echoes of silence, secrets untold. Waves crash loud in this audio cave. No mic, no fame, just the sound we crave. Tune and turn up, let the silence break. Raw, unfiltered, hear the earthquake. No mic needed, just a vibe that's real. Faceless words you can touch and feel. In shadows, voices untamed. No need for spotlight, no claim to fame. Just a beat of life in a stream of thought. Every word a punchline, no need to be taught. Just listen close, no visuals needed. Raw conversation, unprocessed, unseated. Feel the pulse in every sentence said. No distractions, just thoughts in your head. Whispers of the streets, rumbling through. Faceless yet vivid, a world in view. No mic, just souls, connecting in flow. Pure and raw, let the rhythm go.
Leo Weisgerber (1899–1985) was a pioneering critic of semasiology, notably in his influential 1927 article, where he proposed a relational theory of meaning. According to Weisgerber, meaning arises from the phonetic part of a word and its concept. Weisgerber 1927:171. He argued that a word is a unity of two elements, the phonetic form, the name, and the content or concept. The meaning of a word lies in the relationship between these elements, with the concept serving as the meaning of the name. Schmitter 1987:180. This view suggests that a word's significance emerges only through its relation to things and thought. Weisgerber traced this idea to earlier thinkers like Ernst Cassirer (1874–1945) and Herder, whose linguistic speculations, along with Humboldt's philosophy of language, influenced it. Schmitter 1987:181. He concentrated on the relativity of meaning as an ever-evolving relationship between word and social action, but avoided delving into the relativity thesis and the link between language and thought. Structuralism, contextualism, dialogism, Volovinov's and Baxton's contributions to the debate about the relativity of meaning. Johann Leo Weisgerber (1899–1985) was a German linguist from Lorraine, known for developing an organicist or relativist theory of language. He proposed that different languages shape different experiences of the world. Weisgerber also argued that each language community perceives reality uniquely, with specific words, connotations, and ways of structuring concepts. His ideas about linguistic relativity were more extreme than those of Sapir and Wurf, and he was influential in German linguistics into the 1960s. Johann Leo Weisgerber was born in Metz, Lorraine, on February 25, 1899, the son of a village teacher. His mother passed away when he was 5 years old. He received his early education in Metz, completing his Reifeprüfung high school leaving examination in 1917. Following this, he participated in World War I, serving in the German army in Flanders. After the war, from 1918, he pursued studies at the University of Bonn, with brief periods at Munich and Leipzig, eventually earning his PhD in celtology from Bonn in 1923. He became a Privatdozent lecturer at Bonn in 1925, marking the beginning of his influential academic career in linguistics. His dissertation topic was Sprache als gesellschaftliche Erkenntnisform, language as a societal form of cognition knowledge. This manuscript was written in 1925 but was later published in 2008 in the series Schriften der Brüder Grimm Gesellschaft NF 34. This title aligns well with his later work on linguistic relativity and the idea that language actively shapes our understanding of reality. After completing his Ph.D. in Celtology in 1923 and becoming a lecturer at the University of Bonn in 1925, Leo Weisgerber held professorships of general and comparative linguistics at the University of Rostock 1927, Marburg University 1938, and eventually the University of Bonn 1942 to 1967. The specific content or arguments of the article Adjektivische und verbal Auffassung der Gesichtsempfindungen Adjectival and Verbal Conception of Visual Sensations, 1929. In this article, published in the journal Wörter und Sagen, Leo Weisgerber delved into how different languages, specifically German, conceptualize and express visual experiences, particularly those related to color and shininess glands. His core argument revolved around the idea of a historical shift in the German language from a verbal process-oriented to an adjectival property-oriented way of perceiving and describing visual sensations. He suggested that in older Germanic stages, colors were often described more dynamically, perhaps emphasizing the action of light or the shining quality, whereas in modern German, the emphasis moved towards classifying objects by static color adjectives. He proposed that objects were increasingly perceived as color bearers Farbträger rather than color transmitters Farbtransmitter. While his specific empirical claims about this historical shift in color expression have been contested by later research, the article is a classic example of his approach to content-related grammar in Halsbezogene Grammatik, demonstrating how he believed the grammatical and lexical structures of a language directly shape the cognitive experience of its speakers regarding sensory input. Muttersprache und Geistesbildung Mother Tongue and Intellectual Formation, 1929 and later editions. First published in 1929, Muttersprache und Geistesbildung is one of Weisgerber's most significant and widely recognized works. In this book, he argues for the profound and inseparable connection between an individual's native language mother tongue and their intellectual and spiritual development. Weisgerber posits that the structure and vocabulary of one's mother tongue fundamentally influence how a person thinks, understands the world, and develops their cognitive abilities. He emphasizes that the mother tongue is not just a means of expression but a formative power that shapes a community's shared intellectual and cultural heritage, a central tenet of his linguistic relativity theory. Die Stellung der Sprache im Aufbau der Gesamtkultur The Place of Language in the Structure of the Total Culture, 2 volumes 1933 to 1944. This 2-volume work, published between 1933 and 1944, delves deeply into the integral role of language within the entirety of human culture. Weisgerber argues that language is not an isolated phenomenon but is inextricably woven into the fabric of a society's total cultural edifice. He explores how language reflects, preserves, and actively contributes to the development of all cultural domains, including art, science, social structures, and worldview. This work further solidifies his perspective that language is a foundational pillar upon which human civilization and its unique cultural manifestations are built. Die Volkshoffenkraft der Muttersprache The Ethno-Cultural Forces of the Mother Tongue, 1939. Published in 1939, this work further elaborates on the concept of the mother tongue as a carrier of distinct ethno-cultural forces. Weisgerber emphasizes how a particular language encapsulates the unique historical experiences, collective consciousness, and shared identity of a specific linguistic community or folk people nation. He argues that the mother tongue imbues its speakers with a particular way of seeing and interpreting the world, fostering a collective spirit and a unique cultural heritage. This book reflects some of the more nationalistic undertones present in German intellectual discourse during that period. Throughout his career, Weisgerber wrote prolifically and was a significant figure in German linguistics well into the 1960s. He edited the journal Wörter und Sagen, using it to disseminate his ideas, and after World War II, he taught primarily at Bonn. He founded the modern German language journal Workendes Wort and was a co-founder of the Institut für Deutsche Sprache Mannheim. His work focused on content-related grammar and he contributed significantly to the theory that language structures are apprehension of reality. Leo Weisgerber's later work continued to develop and refine his theory of content-related grammar in Halsbezogene Grammatik, which argued that language is not merely a tool for communication but actively shapes our perception and understanding of reality. He built upon the ideas of Wilhelm von Humboldt, proposing that each language embodies a unique worldview Weltbild that influences the thought processes of its speakers. Die Entdeckung der Muttersprache im Europäischen Denken, the discovery of the mother tongue in European thought, 1948. Published shortly after World War II in 1948, this work provides a historical perspective on how the concept and significance of the mother tongue evolved within European intellectual traditions. Weisgerber traces the increasing recognition of the native language as a vital element of national identity, cultural expression, and individual intellectual development throughout European thought. He highlights key figures and movements that contributed to the understanding of the mother tongue not merely as a practical tool but as a profound shaper of thought and culture, reflecting his own lifelong dedication to this idea. He extensively explored how different languages categorize and conceptualize aspects of the world, such as colors, space, and time, leading to distinct cultural and cognitive patterns. His four-volume work, Von den Kraften der Deutschen Sprache on the Powers of the German Language, 1949–1950, is a key example of this focus, examining the inherent forces and structures within the German language that shape thought. Die vier Stufen in der Erforschung der Sprachen, the four stages in the investigation of languages, 1963. Published in 1963, this work outlines Weisgerber's methodological framework for the study of languages, conceptualizing it as progressing through four stages. While the exact stages he defines can be nuanced, this book reflects his mature understanding of linguistic inquiry, moving beyond mere descriptive linguistics to a deeper investigation of language's role in shaping human cognition and culture. It emphasizes a holistic approach, moving from the observable features of language to its underlying semantic and cognitive functions, and ultimately to its role in structuring human experience, thereby summarizing his comprehensive linguistic philosophy. Despite his significant influence in German linguistics through the 1960s, his views, particularly those with nationalistic or even racial undertones from earlier periods, though he was not a member of the Nazi Party, eventually fell into scientific discredit outside of his core followers. Nevertheless, his contributions to the study of linguistic relativity and the interrelationship between language and thought remain a notable, albeit sometimes controversial, part of 20th-century linguistic history. Leo Weisgerber remained influential in German linguistics into the 1960s, continuing to teach at the University of Bonn until his retirement in 1967. He further developed his energetic linguistics Energetische Sprachwissenschaft, which emphasized the dynamic and creative nature of language in shaping thought, and was critical of emerging modern linguistic theories. However, his ideas, particularly his extreme form of linguistic relativity and his association with nationalist ideology from the interwar period, though he was not a Nazi Party member, gradually lost traction in the wider international academic community. The rise of structuralist and universalist approaches to linguistics, particularly from figures like Noam Chomsky in the Anglo-American sphere, challenged Weisgerber's emphasis on historical and culturally specific linguistic worldviews. His sometimes arcane terminology and the political context of his earlier work limited his resonance outside of Germany. Despite this decline in broad international influence, his work on content-related grammar and the relationship between language, thought, and culture left a notable, albeit controversial, legacy within the history of linguistics. He passed away in Bonn on August 8, 1985, at the age of 86. As the following elaborations will show, we have succeeded, on the basis of Weisgerber's 1962a, 131 foot 1 inch collitant-oriented approach, i.e., direct reference to the semantics of the language in identifying the rules and regularities and their underlying principles, which are constitutive for the Gen L1 and language. Furthermore, it is shown that these principles hold good for the structure of every other language, whereby, naturally, the specific concretization will vary from one language to the other, since each language has its own specific way of grasping reality. P41. Johannes Heinrichs, Language Theory for the Computer, Monodimensional Semantics or Multidimensional Semiotics References. Hutton, Christopher M., Linguistics and the Third Reich, Mother Tongue Fascism, Race, and the Science of Language, Studies in the History of Linguistics, Volume 1, Routledge, pages 18, 37. William Jervis Jones 2013. German Color Terms, a study in their historical evolution from earliest times to the present. John Benjamins, Amsterdam and Philadelphia, ISBN 978-90-272-4610-3, pages 6 to 9. Weisgerber 1929, Adjektivische und Verbal Auffassungsempfindungen, Wörter und Sachen 12.197-226. For critiques of Weisgerber in that context, see, for example, Beat-Lehmann 1998, Rot ist nicht Rot. In Billens und neue Interpretation der linguistischen Relativitätstheorie. Günter Narr, Tübingen. Pages 58 to 80. ISBN 3-8233-5096-X, Awar Werlen 2002, Das Wörter der Welt, in, Lexicology. Ein Internationales Handbuch, ed. By D. Alan Cruz et.al. Walter de Gruyter, Berlin and New York, 1.380 to 391. Helmut Gipper and Hans Swartz 1963-89, Bibliographisches Handbuch zur Sprachenjaltsverschung, Westdeutscher Verlag, Cologne, Opladen. Sakanak, Lelija, Urland, Str 2017. Glottogenesis and Language Conflicts in Europe. Berlin, Logos Verlag Berlin. p. 205. ISBN 9783832544447. Leach, Daniel February 6, 2008, Bezin Peru, The Breton Nationalist Unit of the SS, 1943-5, Ecoltoy, Journal of Interdisciplinary Celtic Studies, 4-1, UWM, 24.
Mics on the floor where they drop like bombs. Faceless voices running all the cons. Digital whispers in a binary night. No light, no face, pure sound, no sight. Stories unfold in the dark, unscrolled. Echoes of silence, secrets untold. Waves crash loud in this audio cave. No light, no frame, just the sound we crave. Tune in, turn up, let the silence break. Raw, unfiltered, hear the earthquake. No mic needed, just the vibe that's real. Faceless words you can touch and feel. Hidden in shadows, voices untamed. No need for spotlight, no claim to fame. Just a beat of life in a stream of thought. Every word a punchline, no need to be taught. Just listen close, no visuals needed. Raw conversation, unprocessed, unseated. Feel the pulse in every sentence said. No distraction. distractions, just thoughts in your head. Whispers of the streets, rumbling through. Faceless yet vivid, a world in view. No mic, just souls, connecting in flow. Pure and raw, let the rhythm go. Pure and raw. Silence break, raw, unfiltered, hear the earthquake. No mic needed, just a vibe that's real. Faceless words you can touch and feel. Tune in, turn up, let the silence break. Raw, unfiltered, hear the earthquake. No mic needed, just a vibe that's real. Faceless words you can touch and feel. Pure and raw.
Okay.